Hey everyone, welcome back to Visually Hidden Selects. Today we're going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite films, Bad Boys, from 1983, starring Sean Penn, Esai Morales, Sheedy, and Clancy Brown, and directed by Rick Rosenthal. This was Rick Rosenthal's second feature after Halloween 2. You can see a lot of his experience with Halloween 2 bleed into this film, especially his use of Steadicam work. It was a different director of photography on this film, but he had taken that influence and utilized it in this film to great effect. There's a lot of really nice camera work and camera movements throughout the film. So in this film, Sean Penn plays Michael Mick O'Brien, no relation. And he's basically just a street thug. He has no regard for anyone. He's basically borderline sociopath. So right from the get-go, at the beginning of the film, he's breaking into people's cars, robbing, stealing purses, buying guns. He's left to his own devices of entertainment and survival. One of the credits to the film is that it actually succeeds in telling the story of an unglamorous lifestyle and an unglamorous upbringing. In my personal opinion, it's a very underrated film for a number of reasons. Most of all, Sean Penn's performance. This is really, in this film, in this role as Mick O'Brien, Sean Penn delivers everything he would come to be known for. And he does it at such an early age, and he does it without any question of his character's integrity or sincerity. Next to Sean Penn, the strongest performance in this film is certainly Esai Morales as Paco Moreno, Mick O'Brien's chief antagonist, worst enemy, and they are like cats and dogs fighting each other throughout the entire film. Maybe not always physically, but they are always in each other's hearts, I guarantee you that. The supporting characters also deliver a lot of really strong performances. Clancy Brown as Lofgren Viking is one of the main antagonists of the film. He sets the tone for much of his career. I mean, from this he went on to play the Kurgan in Highlander, Captain Hadley in The Shawshank Redemption, and even the latest season of Dexter. I mean, he is a tough customer, and here he is in his first role just doing what he does best, antagonizing. Of course, the rest of the young cast also really delivers. Sheedy, this is her first performance, and this film was released just a couple of months before War Games, and just a couple of years before The Breakfast Club, where she really kind of came into her own, and then, of course, she was starring in films like Short Circuit after that. Alan Ruck, who plays Cameron Fry in Ferris Bueller, this is his first film as Mick O'Brien's best friend Carl. There is also a character in this film played by Reni Santoni. He's kind of a guiding light for Mick O'Brien. He really understands where O'Brien is coming from, and he knows exactly where O'Brien is headed, whether he knows it or not, if he keeps on this path. So this is kind of a coming-of-age film, but it's not your typical coming-of-age film. You know, you think about a lot of other teen movies from the 80s, and this movie really kind of stands alone as a really kind of troubled youth coming-of-age story. You know, I would put it on the same bill as Over the Edge, if you're familiar with that one from 1979. It just deals with your atypical characters, and it shows you kind of what life is like on the other side of the tracks. I think one of the most interesting things about this film is that it does deal with budgeting criminals, and it kind of shows you that they can potentially be redeemed. These kids do not have a lot of opportunities in life, and so of course they turn to crime. There are some really, really interesting scenes that you wouldn't think of that take place in the classroom of the prison. The guards also double as the counselors and as the teachers, so these are the strong male role models that these young men don't have in their lives. Jim Moody, he plays Mr. Daniels, who doubles not only as a guard, but he's also the English teacher. And there are a number of scenes set in the classroom where he kind of points out the fact that if these boys knew how to read, they might have more opportunities available to them in life, whether through careers or through academics. So it's really just kind of an eye-opener for a different kind of lifestyle, a less privileged lifestyle. The film takes place at Rainford Juvenile Correctional Facility, which is a fictional institution. There is one scene, however, where they do actually visit the Illinois State Penitentiary, and that is the big house. That is the one, you've seen it in a number of films. It's featured in The Blues Brothers, it's featured in Anatomy of a Murder, it's featured in Natural Born Killers. They showcase it in this film as kind of a turning point for the character, where he comes to a crossroads and he kind of decides whether or not he wants to continue on the path and stake a claim in the big house, or maybe finally take the effort to turn his life around. So it's definitely worth watching just to see the decisions that he makes, how he makes them, why he makes them. And that's kind of a big factor in this film too, is his motivation for changing. The character that Sean Penn plays is probably technically considered a sociopath by clinical standards. However, the heart of the film is his relationship with his girlfriend, JC, played by Sheedy. Their connection is so strong that it makes the character of Mick a little more human than most other sociopaths who would be in his position. She is the light at the end of the tunnel, which he is traveling through in this story. I saw this film a lot when I was a kid, and it kind of fell off the map for a little while, and I rediscovered it when I was in junior high, actually. I was in study hall and I was just looking through the entertainment section of the newspaper, and I saw Bad Boys 1983 was going to be on the late movie, so I stayed up and I watched this movie into the night, and it was just like a lot of it came like flooding back in my mind. And the next day I went out and I bought the VHS, which is an edited version. A few years later, it came out on DVD in an uncut version, thankfully. And it's just a very strong film, very powerful, but it's been with me for a long time. And I think part of the reason that I have gravitated to it so strongly was the point in time in which I found it. As I said, I was in junior high, and a lot of the characters in this film are young teenagers. I mean, Sean Penn, he's playing a minor, and so in that regard, you know, you think you're tough, and then you realize what tough is, and then you realize how tough life is, and you grow up pretty quick. This is a very violent film, but it's not violence for the sake of violence. It's functional violence. It's used to illustrate what the day-to-day lifestyle of these characters is like. Pretty much every main character has some type of altercation throughout the course of the film, and I mean, of course, the film is called Bad Boys, not Good Boys. My favorite part of the film comes smack in the middle. After Mick has been in the facility for a while, he's the low man on the totem pole. They got him cleaning the toilets every day, and the guys who sort of run the dormitory, they start gunning for Mick, and he has no choice but to defend himself. In doing so, he kind of turns the tables on his role. He starts to become the kind of man in charge, and that causes him to maybe make some decisions that he wouldn't have otherwise. It also opens doors for him that he may not have been able to get through otherwise. So it's a real interesting look into the prison hierarchy. So that's it for Bad Boys. I really hope you check it out and leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Until next time, see ya.